Only a fascist at heart would say and corruption or, I will kill you. I feel for dual citizens right now. If anything, the Philippines could give lessons to the U.S. on how to be an honest-to-God fascist state masquerading as a democracy. Trump's race baiting and fear-mongering are nothing but nouveau fascism in the U.S. compared with Duterte, who outwarned its biggest bureaucracies like the Social Security system, the Land Transportation Office, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Land Registration Authority, and Pag-IBIG Fund to simplify transactions with citizens or else. Duterte knows where people's anger lies with government. These are the transactions where government makes a lousy impression with the people. So what does Duterte do? He warned his agencies to make things simple for the public, and corruption or, I will kill you. I have never heard anything like that before. They were wearing ball gowns to the SONA event like this was some formal affair. And here's Duterte threatening public murder in the name of improving democracy? That is some chutzpah. Strongman confidence. Capital F rhetoric. That's F for fascistic. Nothing new about it. Old style and getting tougher. Extrajudicial killings are proof that fascism still works when everyone gets in line. And in the SONA Duterte was clear there would be no let up. He wants to bring back the death penalty for drug crimes. The drug cleanup was the fight Duterte came in on, and he's not stopping. Sure, there are still anti-administration protests over the desecration of freedom, and let's hope that continues. Someone has to push back. But the general feeling is that Filipinos, even reputable-looking ones, are all getting in line following the leader. In the Philippines, even in the U.S., we don't even have to talk about a second coming of Marcos anymore. What's more fearful than what we have? A Duterte driving the Philippines beyond the constitutional speed limit? He's pretty bad right now on cruise control. But that's the word. Control. He has it. And he even challenges opposition. He puts down the Filipinos in general and says, the enemy is us. And then he takes charge, threatens death, and no one says boo. Yup. That's a fascist. Duterte appears to be a reflection of the Filipinos who just want things to work, no matter what. Freedom, democracy, civil liberties? Can you eat that? Ideals are meaningless to the people who just want their life. Sad that we have that low bar in both the Philippines, and even in the US right now. As I traveled across America recently, I found an alarming number of people who have just checked out and don't connect with the politics of the day. Too many people don't see it as relevant. They just don't care, which means unless something drastic happens, we might just see a continuation of the same, if we're not careful. The strong guys, with their big money backers, will take all the power. That's how it works unless we get nostalgic. We're coming up to the anniversary of the August 1983 assassination of Benito Aquino. Would it have made a difference had he lived? There's the tough guy Duterte. His frank populism resonates. Take your civil liberties and your bullhorns out into the streets. Duterte is all business and in control. Some people like it that way. He's so confident he throws it back on the Filipinos and there's his challengers. Would people power resonate today? It's an SMH moment, as the digital crowd would say. And just when you think maybe the tough guy thing isn't an act, Duterte revealed his soft side. Grayos with full orchestra, singing Moon River while an 8 holds the lyrics sheet. Fascist with a small f, but it's still a bigger F than Trump. Trump continues to wreak havoc in people's lives by putting the fear of ICE race on the undocumented and telling anyone who looks brown and foreign to go back, notably for progressive members of Congress known as the Squad. It made everyone think about their go-home legacy. For every Filipino in America, the legacy goes back to the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. I lost my chance to own and possess it. I wanted it on eBay but was out it. It was one of the original brochures of the 1904 World's Fair. The one that had a human dude with the Filipinos, euphemistically called a Filipino exposition. An expo, what fun. Emil Amut at the Capitol Fringe in DC. The next show is on Tuesday, but more this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On stage, I talk about how after the Philippines had been raped and pillaged during the Philippines/US war, that rebellious post-mortem of the Spanish-American War, in which the death toll of innocent civilians is estimated to be 1 million. White American showbiz entrepreneurs decided to put a happy face on that relative display of American genocide, and help the government sell the colonization of the Philippines to America and the world. The 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Monday featured 1,200 native Filipinos as if in a zoo, 40 different tribes, 6 Philippine villages, 70,000 exhibits, 725 native soldiers. The brochure cover says it all. The exposition will be second only to the World's Fair itself. But would it also be our not-so-red carpet welcome to America, our new home? It is America's gateway to imperialism. Does that begin to explain our lives in America? The 1904 World's Fair coincided with Chinese exclusion process, which began in 1882, renewed in 1892, and then made Chinese immigration permanently illegal in 1902. In part, the Filipinos were brought in to replace Chinese labor. It's the reason the Filipino male-to-female ratio was 14:1. They were workers, not intended to start families. The labor purpose seemingly backfired because 30,000 Filipino men showed up, mostly in California by 1930. They were colonized Americans. Nationals. They belonged. But it was the Depression. Filipinos were taking jobs. And women. White natives fearing the peaceful penetration by another race would move to exclude the Filipinos, just like they did with the Chinese a generation earlier. For good measure, anti-miscegenation laws prevented any race mixing. As is often the case in stories, the best part is the sex part. And it really is the heart of my show. Filipinos in loincloths as Mandingo? Think. White-fearing Filipinos would sell their white women and infect the white race. Think how badly white men wanted Filipino men to go home. And the focus was just on the Filipino men, those lusty effing rabbits. It wasn't asylum seekers or caravans from Central America. It wasn't Mexican rapists, or MS-13 gang members. There were no people detained in cages. No, in the 30s, the big immigration issue involved the tens of thousands of single Filipino men, mostly in California, who were seen not just as threatening the sex part of white male privilege, but also the future of ethnic purity in America. That sounds like it would fuel a go-home story to end all go-home stories. My father was one of those single Filipino men, whose existence in America was framed by the Filipinos caged in human zoos for entertainment in 1904. That's why I wanted that brochure on eBay. I didn't get it. But I can tell my father's story that continues his journey with my story at Harvard and NPR. This Tuesday, July 23rd, then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, July 26-28. You people, Asian Americans, Filipino Americans, white, have heard this story. It's forgotten history, which is understandable considering what a racist, sexist country America is. Filipino headhunters in loincloths on display aren't exactly a feel-good story. It's something America would rather forget. Emil Guillermo is a journalist and commentator. He writes a column for the North American Bureau of the Inquirer. Twitter @Emilimoff. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.